Hi. Thank you for coming back and joining me on this next segment. I assume because you're here that you would like to flip your switch to success in your brain. All right, well, I'm going to teach you how to do that. Before I start teaching you how to do that, I need to ask you a question, very important question. This may be the most important question of your entire life, or maybe I should say for the rest of your life. And it's a simple question, but don't answer too quickly. Here's the question. What do you want right now more than anything else? But don't answer yet. I've got a couple of rules about answering this question. No filtering. Now, what do I mean by filtering? You know, with almost everything, if someone asks you a question, 99.9% of the time, instantly, you will have an answer come up into your mind, okay, of the answer to that question for you. But then, we very often start rationalizing, logicking, reasoning that thought that came up as to how maybe that's really the answer or it's really not, or we want a different one, or that's not socially acceptable, or ooh, I don't want anyone to know that's my answer to that question. Don't do that with this one question, because how you answer this question is critical to me teaching you how and why to flip the switch in your brain from failure or neutral to success. Okay? So, here's how I'm going to help you answer that question. I love the story growing up of Aladdin and his magic lamp. I found an old lamp of my mom's in the attic. It didn't look like Aladdin's lamp, but it was the closest thing I could find. And I remember when I was 4 or 5 years old, walking all over the yard, and I would imagine that, and rubbing the lamp. And this was before Robin Williams and Disney and the big blue funny genie, okay? But I would imagine that, and all kinds of different answers I might give, okay? So I'm going to use that story to help you find your true answer to this question, because finding your true answer is one of the keys to you flipping the switch in your brain, all right? So I want you to imagine, just for a minute, and I'd advise you to close your eyes as you imagine this, that Aladdin's genie is standing in front of you right now. Not make-believe, not imagined, a miracle, if it really happened, okay? You can do that. Imagine that a miracle occurred and it really happened, and Aladdin's genie, you don't know how in the world it happened, nobody's ever going to believe this, but he's standing in front of me right now. And here's what he says. I'm here to grant one wish. This is the only wish you can ever have in your entire life. You can wish for almost anything, and it will be granted. You can't wish for more wishes. And you can't make a wish that will take someone else's free will from them. But almost anything else, you wish it, you got it. You wish for $1 million, pow, in your bank account. You go to your computer, oh, goodness gracious, I can't believe it, it's really there, $1 million. A health problem to go away, whoosh, it's gone. They do the MRI or the CT or the blood work. We don't have any explanation, but it's gone. Some success in your life, a career thing, an achievement, whatever it is, okay? You wish for that, you got it. But you can only have one wish. And if you don't tell me, the genie says, what your wish is in 10 seconds, you lose it forever. Okay? So I would like you to imagine, as you're watching this, that is happening to you wherever you are But imagine you're by yourself, the door is closed, no one else will ever know how you got that $1 million or whatever it is. They'll think it just happened naturally. But I want you to imagine it really happening right now where you are. And you can only have one wish in your whole life. Okay? I'm about to count down from 1 to 10. And when I say time's up, I want you to open your eyes and write down what your wish would be. Okay? So, you ready? You're going to close your eyes. Imagine the genie giving you the one wish, only wish you can ever have in your life. You've only got 10 seconds. Okay? So, you ready? Here we go. Go. Time's up. Open your eyes. Write down what you would wish for. Okay. I have to ask you to forgive me. I just tricked you. And I apologize. But I had to in order to get what you really want most in your life. Okay? I've been asking people this question for over 25 years, more than I've ever done anything professionally. I've asked one person at a time, thousands at a time, and everything in between. Okay? And in my experience, over the last 25 years, 99% of people, actually more than 99%, give the wrong answer to this question. Now, you're thinking, how in the world can I know they gave the wrong answer? Because when I explain to them in person 2 more questions and how this all works, they tell me they gave the wrong answer. Okay? So let me give you the 2 other questions. Number 1, you know. What do you want right now more than anything else? What you would wish for from the genie. Number 2, if you were to get that wish, what would that do for you in your life in a positive way? What would that change in your life? And number 3, if you were to get that wish, how would you feel? How would you feel? Okay. Approximately 99% of people, when I ask them the genie question, what do you want more than anything else right now? They answered it with a physical or external circumstance, usually something in the future. I'd like to achieve this or that in my career, or they answer it with money or something that money will buy, or something physical, a health issue going away, or someone else doing something like loving me or doing things for me the way I want them to do things for me, or forgiving me, or whatever, all right? Well, all of those are a physical or external expectation or circumstance, okay? And 99+% of people answer this question that way. The way I tricked you is that how you answered this question shows you what the number 1 goal in your life is right now. It really does. Now, you probably never would have said that maybe, that my goal is $1 million. That's the number 1 goal of my life. You probably would have said my wife or children or something else, okay? But however you answered this question is the number 1 goal of your life right now, even though it's very possibly unconscious. The reason that's important is because the number 1 goal of your life plays a huge part in everything you feel, think, believe, and do, and whether the switch in your brain is switched to success or failure, which means all the chemical, hormonal, physical stuff as well. All right? According to Dr. Dan Gilbert at Harvard University in original research he did at Harvard and wrote a best-selling book about it. Expectations are a happiness killer. That's a direct quote from him, the conclusion of the study. And if you read it, what he's talking about, for the most part, is physical or external, usually in the future, circumstances, what he calls an expectation. And the reason it's a happiness killer, and it's much more than a happiness killer, it's an everything killer. It's a relationship killer, a success killer, a health killer. A health killer because it flips the switch in your brain to failure, which is your stress response, fight or flight, okay, which causes this cascade of negative events in your body and life, all right? That's only supposed to happen if your life is in imminent mortal danger. That's why up to 95% of all illness and disease is related to stress. Okay, it's a malfunction and causes all kinds of bad things to happen, all right? So when you have as your number one goal, or one of your top goals, an expectation, a physical or external circumstance, it puts you into immediate chronic stress. It flips your switch to failure. If you're already in stress, it spikes your stress. For how long? As long as you have that goal, which for a lot of people is years, decades, or even your entire adult life. Okay? And so from that comes all of the list of the failure things that I read to you in the previous segment. Less than 1% of people answer the Genie question with what I call an inward state, an internal state. Love, joy, peace, happiness, but the kind of happiness that's not dependent on external circumstances, more of a joy. Significance, security, all internal stuff. Okay, less than 1% of people answer the question that way. Here's the takeaway. What you really want more than anything else is always an internal state. The lie is we think we have to have the external or physical circumstance to purchase for us, almost like it's money or currency, the internal state. We don't think we can have the internal state without the external circumstance. Ladies and gentlemen, it's one of the biggest lies ever perpetrated on human beings on planet Earth. It is not true. In fact, the internal produces the external never produces the internal. So if you answered the Genie question with an external or physical circumstance, your switch in your brain is flipped to failure right now. And you're having all those things happen in you that I read from the research that failure mechanism does. If you answer the question with an inward state, it may not be flipped to success because you can have that as your goal and still not be able to live it. Okay? So it may be kind of neutral. In the next segment, I'm going to start teaching you how to, on demand, flip your switch from failure to success. And to start having as your goal the inward state rather than the external circumstance, which ensures that that switch will stay where it's supposed to go, which controls your chemicals, your hormones, your physical body, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your actions, behavior, the energy of your body, how you are in every relationship, pretty much everything in your life. So I hope you have a fantastic day and can't wait to see you in the next segment when we're going to get to work on that switch.